There he is. Oh my goodness. Now that fish right here, this particular fish right here, knocked the far from it, folks. And I'm not kidding you. Look at there. That's a darn good one. He come up and hit that bait full force. Full force. I'm fishing slightly above them. I've mentioned that a lot. These fish is probably, come here boy. Look at there, what a crappie. Let's explain something right here. Look how you eat that to start with. That's a big crappie right there. Thick. Right now they're at their heaviest. This time of year, right in the middle of the winter. I call it right in the middle of the winter. It's really a little past the middle of the winter, but that is a good fish right there. Now I'm fishing slightly above these fish. These fish are anywhere from 3 to 3.5 feet deep. They're suspended. So I'm fishing anywhere from about 20 inches deep. Barely, where this bait is just barely out of sight. The water's clear, but not gin clear, but it's pretty clear right here. And I'm going to tell you, of all the baits I've ever fished, I'm going to rank, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to rank an underspin as a premier bait, probably the best shallow water bait you can get or use for crappie. Let's let him go. Why is this such a good bait? It's that little bitty Indiana spinner on the bottom. That's a 1/16 of an ounce underspin with a little Z-Man bait on the back of it, Elastic. I'm using 6-pound test fluorocarbon line, and my favorite connection, and it probably always will be, is a double uni knot. One of the reasons why is because I've never had any trouble with that knot, and I can tie one incredibly quick. Now I have 8-pound test braid on here, Berkeley braid, but this is the second time I've used this rod. This is a Sowbelly, or third time I've used it, excuse me, Sowbelly rod. It's a light action rod. Light action. And not only is it light action, it's light in my hand. I mean light as a feather. On it I'm using a 2500 size Fago, LT 2500 size Fago. And hey, it's a great combination for what we're doing today. Because of all the rain this fall and this winter, I've been finding bait. And anytime I'm around a lot of bait and underspin, and meaning, what I mean by bait is threadfin shad and little gizzard shad. You know, an inch to 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. That's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of fish packed up in here. And one of the reasons, the main reason is because the water's high. And there's a lot of bait fish that's moved up in here. We got some trees right here sunk in the water. Now these are shallow. Real shallow. When the water gets this high, these fish should get up real shallow. A lot of times. They'll fool you. They'll get up real shallow. And what I'm doing, this tree is submerged. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. Completely submerged under the water. And the trunk is laying off the bank, but towards us like that. And I'm throwing parallel with the trunk. There's not many limbs on this tree. And reeling that underspin right beside the trunk. Hoping there's a crappie tucked up under it. The trunk, like right here, that was a perfect example of what I was talking about. Or I envisioned that in my mind, that crappie holding on that tree, and look what happened. Let's put him in the boat. That's a good one. And that water can't be over 2 feet deep, but you see that? That's what happens when all of a sudden the water gets high. And this works on any lake. Any lake I've ever fished, this is a great pattern when it comes to crappie fishing. Let it be written in the book of crappie fishing. Let's let him go. You talking about a great action. Let's look at this bait. Y'all see that? Great action. That tail just going back and forth. Plus you have that little Indiana spinner right there turning. Well, you got a good situation right there. That crappie can't stand it, especially big crappie. All sizes I hit it, but now this, I've caught a lot of big crappie with this particular bait right here. This is a Roadrunner underspin, and a finesse underspin, they're good too. There he is. Oh my, that was a thump and a half. Another good fish right here. I'm starting to catch some pretty good ones now, folks, because I'm hanging with it. Me without a net. Now this is a pretty good fish right here. A man needs to always have a net. I'm gonna lip this one. Come on in here, boy. There he goes. That's a good one right there. Look here. That is a healthy crappie. I'm gonna go ahead and call him a slab because he's so thick. Look how thick. Don't you know that fish has got some fillets? Serious fillets on him. Got fish in the freezer. Got plenty of fish in the freezer. Look there, what a mouth. Beautiful black crappie, and he's full of shad. Let's let him go right here. I have a video that's just right for people who wants to fish with an underspin. It shows you exactly how I, in my opinion, modify these baits to catch more fish. Now, this one right here is actually a 1/16 of an ounce. It has a size 4 hook in it. Roadrunner is the name of this underspin, but it's actually a 1/32 of an ounce because I've cut half of the lead off. Right here where the plastic comes up to the bottom of the head is where I cut it off. And you don't have nothing. I don't have anything but hook shank from that point on. Now what I do is wrap dental floss around the shank, put whatever bait of choice that I want on, pull the bait back after I rig it straight, super glue it and push it back. You can catch fish. I've caught fish all day on this one bait. I fish the whole entire tree, folks. The whole tree. Every limb, all up and down the trunk on both sides. I really fish a tree. When I leave that tree, it has been fished. Just like right here. Here's the end of the tree. Let's make a cast right there. And now I'm going to reel it up under the surface about 16 inches and let it fade to where I think those branches are. So I faded a little bit deeper on purpose. Like right there, I'm right beside the limb. Now I'm going to fade. I'm trying to purposely bump that limb. That triggers a strike too. especially from the bigger fish. They can't stand it if you bump the tree. If they're there, oh me, it'll reflex a bite like nobody's business real quick. Now, there's not a fish there though. I made up several casts without a bite, but they're not always there. They seem to be kind of closer to the bank. Yeah, I got a bite there, but I don't know. There he is. I do know now. So there's some fish back here too. That's a good crappie right there. Now this water's a lot more shallower than what I caught those others out of. Quit. So there may be some big crappie in here. Why is he pulling so daggone hard for? Quit. Well, he's a good fish. Not no giant, but I ain't even got a net. Let's flip him in here. Doggone it. Left my doggone net in the truck. But that's a nice fish right there. And underspin, I tell you, I've been catching a lot of fish with an underspin. I'm going to mention that once again. I've never used one this much. But because of the weather conditions, it's just warrants an underspin. I've been finding bait, is what I'm saying, folks. Pretty easy. But don't be afraid to explore where you don't think they are. You know, it's hard to predict that, really, especially when you have high water, because they'll surely surprise you. These fish, a crappie is the most movingest fish that I know of. There he is. Golly. Man, oh man, oh man. Another good crappie. That one right there is burning. He's making that doggone line sing. Ree, ree. I'm not going to flip him in now. Too heavy. These fish right here, like I said, is at their maximum weight right now, just like bass. They ain't nothing but healthy. Whew. My. I'm going to show y'all something, how good these little baits are. These little Z-Man baits I've been using. This one's about tore up. Look at it. The tail's been bit off. And that fish still hit it. Let's let him go. A lot of crappie in here, but they could be small and I could be wrong. We need to find out that. And if they're real small, we'll go on. That scared the far out of me, folks. Did y'all hear that? My. I thought Sasquatch got a hold to me. I'm not kidding, that got me. I wasn't expecting that. What was I saying? I don't even know. Maybe that's a sign we're talking too much, running that mouth too much. Let's go to fishing. We're liable to get a bite at any second. There's a good crappie. Oh my. This point right here is loaded up with fish, folks. Absolutely. And all of them's good ones. I hadn't caught a small one here yet. Look at that fish fight down there. Let's get him up just a little bit more. I want y'all see that? Shaking his head and all kinds of stuff trying to get loosed. That is a heavy crappie. So I ended up today thinking, well, I'm not going to catch no good big crappie. But I was wrong. That's a mule. That is an absolute fat, broad, healthy crappie. Look at there. Look how thick. Right there, folks. Big old black crappie. They've all been big right here. But I thought I wasn't going to catch any big ones today. And I have caught a ton of fish. But a lot of little ones. And that's okay. That's fishing. Fishing is fishing is fishing. But I'm like everybody else. I like to catch a good ones. Let's let him go. Whoa. My goodness, what a crappie. Let's take just a moment, folks, and let's forget all about fishing. Okay? And I want you to look at the beauty right here. See that's mountain here, and you got a mountain here, bluff. Real steep, straight down bluff, if y'all can see that. Just beautiful. What God has created for us. Look at the birds. You got Canadian geese out there. You got some seagulls. I've never been anywhere in the United States, I don't think, that I didn't think that was beautiful. Alabama is a very beautiful state, there's no doubt about it. But Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, it's just our country is beautiful. And we're blessed to live here. We're blessed to have a God that made this for us to enjoy. That is a big blessing. Big blessing. You know, folks, there's no doubt in my mind that an underspin is, like I said, probably the best application or technique or bait to throw when it comes to big crappie. I've said it once, I'll say it again. With this old Jolly Rancher in my mouth, it's sour. Old Greenings is sour. That fishing is a sport second to none. I want to say God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for all the great comments, everything that y'all do for this channel. Do you hear that seagull? Oh my goodness. And remember, go fishing when you can, because it's good for you.